Guess with that, let's watch the announcement. Welcome back. Oh, I guess we'll do one quick recap for people who tune in before we watch the announcement. So yes, I've not been at the PC for a very long time. I've been looking after some very sick family members who are unfortunately still very sick. It's not like a done thing. It's still like an ongoing situation. But yeah, it's sort of time to sort of put a little bit more focus back on myself and kind of get a little bit back into the swing of things. So I don't know what my full schedule is going to be like. I don't know if this is like a full, like 24/7 return. This might be like a part-time return. We'll just have to vibe it out. But today, what we are doing though, is we're going to be watching all the Forbidden Sanctum news and then hopefully planning a starter build. So let's start off with the Sanctum Challenge League. Not the Forbidden Sanctum, maybe the Forbidden Sanctum Challenge League was, anyway. Let's watch a thing. Tell me if the volume and everything is okay, by the way.
Deal with the evil that lurks there. The Forbidden Sanctum is an old Templar enclave, long rumored to be hidden beneath the Fellshrine ruins. Abandoned for a long time.
That's cool. I like the fact that it's in Fellshrine. That's cool. I like going back to an old area. That's cool.
It is now controlled by a malevolent entity. In this league, you'll explore it, find out its secrets, and deal with the evil that lurks there. The Sanctum Challenge League is a roguelike game, played out one room at a time as you explore Wraeclast and the Atlas.
Okay, so roguelike's cool. Quick tidbit. When I was in ExileCon and people were asking me to like what my predictions for like ExileCon, I really wanted a roguelike mode. I think roguelike design plus ARPG is a very natural sort of like crossover. Especially with how many mods there are. Like the whole idea of uniques, positive and negatives. Like you could complete a room and then you get to like pick, like, do you want this really cool upside, really cool downside? That seems very PoE, that seems very GGG. Yeah, okay.
Atlas and Path of Exile. In every area or map you enter, you can make a choice of which room in the Sanctum you will explore next. On the Sanctum map, you can see the contents of a few rooms ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you very much for the Prime Kana. So each temple or sanctum, sorry, I'm going to say temple because of incursion. So each sanctum is 7 rooms. Did Chris say that you can save, again, no spoilers, this is just me reacting to each thing. 8, can I not count? Oh, I guess you start here. First one, okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, 8, yeah, okay. So each thing is like 8 rooms, no spoilers, chat. So initial actions, if you can save them up, like you run like 8 maps, and then you go and run your thing, cool. If it's, again, no spoilers, if you have to do like a room in every map you're in, that could disjoint it a little bit. Sometimes it's fun when you have like teleport to a different place. Sometimes that can really just like kill the flow. GGG's been really good at letting people like get into their own rhythm and their own whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Enabling you to plot a path through its dangerous halls. And the Sanctum is dangerous. Like most roguelikes, you should not expect to be able to complete it on your first try. Getting to the deeper floors requires experience, knowledge, and luck. You should expect that your early attempts will fail, but over time...
Oh wait, no, I'll let him finish what he's going to say.
You'll be able to push yourself farther and farther. As you
Okay, so again, no spoilers. This might be like a really boring distinction to make. So there's a whole argument in roguelite and roguelike. So generally, there's a whole thing about like, do you have progressive power increases with each run that you do? So like Hades, for example, will be an example of like you have an ongoing meta progression, and then something like what doesn't? Well, I guess the original like Rogue. You don't. Every run you're starting from nothing, no progression, whatever. So I don't want to get into that whole massive thing. For this, is there meta progression or is there not meta progression? Let's see.
Progress deeper into the Sanctum, you'll find a variety of treasures that will help you eventually fight your way to the dangers that await you at the end of its 4 floors. Eventually, by endgame, you may be able to push through all 4 floors to face the final boss. Every roguelike needs a resource to help you track how well the run is
Roguelike.
going.
Okay. He's saying roguelike, so I think there isn't meta progression.
Forbidden Sanctum, it is your resolve, indicated by this bar here. As you explore the Sanctum, your resolve is threatened by the dangers within. When you lose all of your resolve, your Sanctum run ends.
Okay, for hardcore players. Okay.
Your level of resolve is maintained between consecutive rooms on your run, but is only shown when you're in the Sanctum itself. The resolve mechanic applies equally to all build archetypes. Your resolve is reduced when you are hit by monsters or environmental hazards.
Wouldn't, like, evasion, like, avoidance-based builds with really good movement speed and builds that, like, off-screen? Thank you very much for the gifted subs. That's very kind of you. Wouldn't that be, like, way better than, like, slow builds? No spoilers, but that's just my initial reaction to that. Unless there's, like, a thing where, like, your damage reduction reduces the amount of resolve. Or if there's, like, when you get hit, there's, like, a brief immunity. So, like, if you got, like, hit by a barrage, you don't instantly, like, lose 10 hits worth. You count the first one, there's a mini timer, and then, well, let's keep watching, sorry.
The Sanctum, and these telegraphed attacks are not affected by regular Path of Exile defensive mechanics, such as evasion, armor, or block.
Okay.
While these attacks do some nominal damage to your regular life, the bulk of their impact is against your resolve. This mechanic provides a mechanism for tracking your progress between rooms.
Okay, so their movement speed is the best thing. So you just want like a character that moves really quick and does all its damage while moving. So like Caustic Arrow, or like a minion build, like a totem build. Something which off screen's really hard. Spark, Evolve Spark.
Where your regular life pool would long ago have been recovered. Another aspect of the resolve system is that characters who are struggling can be ejected from the Sanctum without actually having to die, avoiding experience loss or hardcore death.
Hang on. Another no spoiler. Hang on. So if the things do minimal damage, and your mitigation doesn't reduce resolve, then wouldn't a very strong strategy be to make a character with basically no defense? Because you don't need life nodes, you don't need ES, because you don't take damage, or you take like minimal damage, and then you don't need any defensive layers, and you just go really heavy on movement speed and like cooldown reduction or whatever. No spoilers.
So maintaining a healthy level of resolve is key as you navigate the Sanctum. And that means...
Well, you still want a character that can map efficiently. Unless, I don't know if it's character or account bound. Probably account bound. Most things are account bound. So maybe you have like a mapping character, which is like a normal character. And then you have like a temple character or something.
Making careful choices of what rooms you enter. Let's have a look at some of the things that Sanctum...
And depending on if like there are like... So some league... Again, no spoilers. So some league mechanics, I think Incursion is a good example of this. You can do like... most of it in, say, like, just tier 11 maps, and then you just do, like, the final incursion, like a tier 16 map. So maybe you do something similar here, where you purposely just, like, run easier content. I guess that also then depends on how good the rewards in the Sanctum are, because if you're doing that, then you're like, reducing the amount of rewards you could be getting from doing, like, tier 16, like, altars. So... If it's a league mechanic which is super rewarding, that might be worth doing. But if it's less rewarding than mapping, or just like equally rewarding to mapping, unless it has some very special things that only come from this. Okay, well we'll see, but it's things to think about.
Rooms can contain. Afflicted rooms cause you to gain an affliction when you enter them. Afflictions make your Sanctum run more difficult. For example, reducing your resolve recovery, causing rewards to become hidden on the Sanctum map.
That sounds terrible.
Or causing Sanctum rooms to spawn volatile anomalies that follow you.
But then you get an upside.
These minor afflictions accumulate as you get deeper and deeper into a run, making it more...
Rewards are unknown doesn't seem like a minor thing. Like, I play a lot of games like Slay the Spire, And not being able to plan your route is huge. Huge, huge, huge. So maybe it's a thing of like you pick between, again, this is just me assuming based on other games I've played, like you pick between a really difficult room and it's like a net neutral, or like an easier room that comes with an affliction, and then every like 4 or 5 rooms you get like a major boon. Kind of like if you played Hades, like your abilities chain, or like when you attack, you shoot out sparks or whatever.
More challenging. Major afflictions exist and are a big deal. They have significant consequences, such as entirely preventing the recovery of
Cannot
resolve.
recall resolve. Ooh.
So, a Sanctum run gets harder and harder as you pick up more afflictions. Sounds great. But every roguelike needs a way for you to gain power throughout your run.
Boons.
In the Forbidden Sanctum, that system is boons.
Hey!
Boons are beneficial buffs that help
Let's
you as
see.
you progress through the Sanctum. Minor boons make things a little easier, such as slowing down monsters or adding a special shield to your resolve called Inspiration. Major boons don't come along often, but have large effects, such as preventing you from receiving more minor afflictions, or recovering your resolve to 50% the next time you run out. Due to the vast variety of afflictions and boons...
Wait, those were the most exciting ones? Because usually GGG, they like to do the big thing. They do like the big thing. So it's like when they show like a unique, they show you like the biggest unique ever. Oh. No spoilers. Maybe there is some really cool ones. But a 50% heal and like an absorb shield. I was kind of hoping for like a headhunter, like an inspired learning kind of effect. Okay.
No 2 runs are the same. Generally speaking...
So, it depends on if you can make builds. So, in most roguelikes, the runs feel different because you're making different builds. I'm going to use Hades as an example because I feel like that's one that most people have played. I guess Vampire Survivors I don't, do people call that a rogue? I guess so. But like, it's the idea of like, this time I'm going to do a lightning build. So this feels really different. And then the next time I might do like a Bible build. Or in Hades, you might do a run with the bow, and then the next one you do it with the fist weapons. And because with Path of Exile, you have a set build, then like it's, so like, for example, in Hades, I'm going to go back to Hades. So with Hades, they had a really good system of encouraging players from using different weapons, right? Because you got more like meta progression based on swapping your weapons. Whereas in Path of Exile, here we see a tornado shot character. If you're a tornado shot character, it's not like you're going to start a new run and then collect a boon and you're like, oh, I'm now like an Ancestral Warchief Totem build. Because you're still fundamentally tornado shot. So your gameplay is fundamentally still the same. So for each run to feel very different, you either need to have like really good layouts. So like each layout is very, very different in terms of either visual or like geography, like map design, or very different like enemy diversity. So maybe you do one run which is mostly against like mechanical creatures. Kind of if you use Heist for as an example, like Heist had the different layouts with the different kinds of enemies in there. So maybe one is like a robot floor, and then a different floor is, I don't know, skeletons, because you said Fell Shrine. So you kind of have like different things going in different bosses. Yeah.
Speaking, your best Sanctum runs are the ones where the afflictions you choose have little effect on you, and the boons either counteract them or have a large benefit for the strategy you're running. Some rooms in the Sanctum contain a fountain, which will restore some of your lost resolve.
Okay.
Others contain afflicted fountains that restore even more resolve at a cost. Rooms with a treasure reward.
There's a really cool roguelike. It's, I can't remember what it's called right now. Someone in chat might know it. It actually feels a lot like Incursion. You're an explorer in like an Aztec temple. Curse of the Old Gods, Curse of Gods, God Curse, or something like that. And it's like every room you're going through, you're collecting curses for upside. Curse of the Old Gods. Yeah, that sounds kind of like... So it sounds like the way that Chris is explaining this is your runs feel different, not so much from the boons you're gaining, but from the curses or the downsides. So in that case, I would hope the curses are very impactful from a gameplay point of view, but hopefully not in a way that feels like every floor is covered in chilled ground or like tar zombies. You know what I mean? Again, no spoilers, but that's so. If that's the way you're going, then I think another way you could make the temples feel very different is if each temple had like really different rewards. So maybe it's like you start collecting afflictions that boost like jewelry drops. So if you're playing an SSF, then it's like, oh, I really need new jewelry, like unique rings or ammies or whatever, so I'm going to collect these things, or maybe I'm going to collect these afflictions to get more currency, or whatever.
Reward contain chests full of the Templar Aureus currency, a type of gold coin they used for commerce within their sanctum.
Okay.
You'll also find some Aureus coins from monsters that you kill as you explore. These are picked up automatically, like Azurite, and are not tradable, and like your afflictions and boons, are lost when your sanctum run ends. Some rooms contain a merchant who accepts...
He spent a long time hanging near the chests. I really hope it's not a situation where, like, you click the chest and you need to stand near the chest, because there's this whole thing of... Also, no spoilers, do monsters drop the coins? Because if the whole thing is about you need to get through as many floors as possible without getting hit, what's stopping players from making, like, movement speed builds where you just run through dodging every monster, click all the chests, and then leave? Thank you very much for the subs.
Accepts your Aureus coins in exchange for boons. Find your purchases carefully, as you may encounter the...
Increase resolve. So is that, like, over time? Is that, like, leech? The next time you go below resolve, heal for resolve. Coin Tanosaur are doubled. Shop can be re-rolled. So it seems like a lot of the boons are just to do with just, like, restoring your resolve. I would like there to be more, like, impactful gameplay changing things. Coins found on this floor. Well, the fact that he says that coins found on this floor implies there are multiple floors. Otherwise, you wouldn't say this floor. Shop can be re-rolled. Do you retain... No, again, this is just me talking to myself. Do you retain the coins per run?
Merchant again later on with even more expensive boons to purchase. Occasionally, the sinister powers controlling the sanctum will present you with the choice of making an accursed pact.
Okay.
You are given several pacts to choose from and can even opt to take all that you are offered. All pacts have a big upside and a big downside, such as exchanging a portion of your maximum resolve for a random major boon. It's very dangerous to make a pact, but if you pick the right circumstances, your gamble could pay off. In addition...
So, like, a lot of the boons I've seen are, like, heal 50% of your resolve. So why would you take a random boon to lose 50% of your resolve? That doesn't seem worth.
To rewards that help you progress through the sanctum, many rooms let you immediately receive Path of Exile currency items, but with a twist. Whenever you're offered some currency items that you can receive right away, you are also offered a more valuable option that will be waiting for you after the boss fight at the end of the current floor of the sanctum. It's a gamble because...
This was something I really liked about Ultimatum. Oh, I really hope Ultimatum is back. Because it wasn't no spoilers. If Ultimatum is back, I am so hype. So that was one of the things that I really liked about Ultimatum is, like, do I take my reward now? Or do I hold and get a bigger reward later? So I like to see that gameplay return.
If you fail your run before you reach and defeat the boss, you will not receive the reward you picked. Later on, you're offered the extreme temptation of getting a massive currency reward that is conditional on completing your entire Sanctum run without failing. At a specific point in the Forbidden Sanctum storyline, you'll discover a special altar that Templar relics can be placed on. These relics directly affect your Sanctum runs and are not lost when a run ends. They persist throughout the League as a permanent source of...
Okay, so there is meta progression. Okay, that's interesting. So is this like a... No spoilers. Is this like a Roderick Cube sort of thing where, like, you got to collect all the relics and then the more powerful relics are going to be bigger So you've kind of got like a thing where you kind of got to like plan out, and maybe you make builds through the relics you have. Okay. Thank you very much for the subs, by the way.
Meta progression. Acquiring new and better relics is one of the ways you can push farther and farther with each run you try.
Yes, okay, so it's like, okay.
Relics cannot be crafted and cannot be traded, as they represent your personal progression throughout.
Also, funny, last time we had Chris on Wraeclast, I made a point of talking about Backpack Hero. This is Backpack Hero. So for anyone who hasn't played it, I think it might even be on Steam now, but it was free on itch.io. It's a really cool game. Really cool roguelite. No, roguelite, because it hasn't got meta progression. Anyway, it's a really cool roguelike. It's a dungeon crawler. And when you defeat enemies, you pick up items. And you have a very small backpack. And as you progress through the dungeons, you can choose to like expand your backpack in different directions. So, for example, you might start with like a 4x4 grid, and you could choose to add like 3 squares to the right, or maybe like 2 squares up. And that makes a really big difference based on the kind of items that you have. So if you've gotten like a really powerful 4x4 item, it might have like a bonus on it, which like it gets more powerful for every item to the left of it. And so you start building your inventory in a certain way. Yeah, Backpack Hero I think is one of the coolest games ever. And I'm really curious to know if Chris looked into that game at all, and if anyone on the team looked into that game at all, if that had any influence on this system. Because that conversation must have happened during the development of this league. So that's cool. I like this. This seems cool.
League. You'll accumulate more than you can use simultaneously, so you'll have options to fine-tune your strategy.
No, I like this. This seems really cool.
You can store your extra relics in the relic locker, a free storage space like the...
How do you unlock these? I guess by like completing runs. Interesting. Thank you very much for the subs.
Expedition locker. We don't want to spoil important story details, but the end boss of the
mana minus chaos res minus to all max. Oh wow. Getting additional AD reduction equal to half your. Ooh, oh, that's interesting. Gain additional LE damage reduction equal to half your chaos res. So you do like Timeless Jewel shenanigans. That's cool. It's an amulet though. An amulet's like super strong. That's cool. Thank you for modding Knet.
The Forbidden Sanctum can drop unique items from a pool exclusive to this league. Today we'd like to show you a unique amulet called Eternal Damnation.
That's really cool.
This amulet offers a powerful way to gain
additional mana on
mitigation by introducing the concept of elemental damage reduction. Despite the drawback of reducing your maximum resistances,
why does it?
if you have sufficient chaos resistance, this is more than...
Why does it give... Like, it's random upside, but like, why does it give mana? Is there anyone who's going to be like, oh, I really want to use this Eternal Damnation? If only it gave mana. It's such an odd stat to throw. Like, thematically, it seems really... Just Mind Over Matter. Is again, if you were a Mind Over Matter build, and you were planning on using this, then it's just extra upside, but it's kind of like, I don't know, it seems odd, but yeah, sure.
Compensated for. Because of the roguelike nature of the Forbidden Sanctum, defeating the boss of a floor is a difficult achievement and hence rewards a lot of experience. You may fail on the way, so if you do manage it, expect a good experience boost for your achievement.
Ooh, okay, that's cool, I like that.
Another reward you can find is a special type of relic called a Sanctified Relic that has mods that directly affect your character's build.
Ooh, Righteous Fire Raider?
You can only unlock one slot for this type of relic.
And while these relics
can't be crafted through conventional means, you may find special reward rooms in the Sanctum that can modify them.
Okay, that's really cool.
These relics exist for this league only and provide a boost to character power for players who are able to master the Sanctum. The Sanctum League offers a roguelike experience that tempts you into taking risks and rewards you if those pay off. There's a lot to explore in the Sanctum, and we can't wait to hear about your experiences next week. In each expansion leading up to Path of Exile 2's
Alright, okay, let's do a quick resum of that before we get into the endgame improvements. So, I think the relic system is really cool. I think the relic system is really, really cool. I I think that's the coolest thing about the system. The boons and like the build diversity thing I was really worried about until then. Do I want questions answered now? No. I think what I want to do is I want to play it myself. And form my own opinions before I start like asking. I'll watch the Zig Chrissy Q&A as well. I think the relics are really, really cool. I worry a little bit about speed builds and like the strength of, like, it's like, you know how we often say it's like GGG wants slower gameplay, but then they push like Legion based mechanics. You talked about Chris said the sanctified. Oh, so the special relics work outside the League mechanic. Oh, that's okay. That's really cool. Okay, that's very cool. So you've got the normal relics, which are League, and sanctified relics are like everything. Okay, that's very, very cool. Yeah, no, relics are sick. Okay, that's cool.
We're improving Path of...
It's a really good way to encourage people to play throughout the League as well, because it's like, so an issue that I've run into a lot in SSF is I get like a soft gear cap, and I feel like I can do all the content with the soft gear cap, but to get the next level of upgrade would take me like 400 hours of grinding. And then they introduced like the Uber bosses, and then I felt like the disparity in strength you needed to do like a normal boss to like an Uber boss, like that jump, it wasn't worth like the like it wasn't worth that grind. Whereas with a system like this, it's like the more you play, even if you're jumping between different characters randomly, you're gaining that long-term power, which might be the difference between being able to do an Uber boss, not doing an Uber boss, or be like a reasonable and obtainable goal, rather than you know, turning a +4 bow into like a +5 bow. Cool.
Of Exile's endgame.
Thank you for the subs.
With new content to explore and improvements to how you customize your endgame experience. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we're revamping the Atlas tree, reworking how Eldritch altars function, and are introducing 2 new Atlas memories. The Atlas tree...
Atlas memories I wasn't that bothered about, but cool. Atlas tree revamp is hype.
It's generally working really well, but has a few problems we'd like to address. The tree offers you the ability to specialize in killing pinnacle bosses,
I don't like
extra rewards when you do so. While this sounds good on paper, it creates a situation where you're incentivized to special...
What happens to me, and again, this is an SSF problem, but what tends to happen, which is really annoying, is like, I want to farm Blue Boy. So I spec into running blue altars, and then I have to put like 20 or 30 points on my Atlas skill tree into like this guy. And then I want to go do like elder farming or something. And so what ends up happening is I end up like hoarding all of my elder frags and then doing a massive respec and doing the other thing. And I think a couple of leagues ago, PoE was in a really good state where it's like you'd be running tier 16 maps while you're doing tier 6 maps. It's like, oh, I'm going to run a Shaper, I'm going to run an Elder, I'm going to run a this, I'm going to run a that. And I feel like that flow is now more like, I will eventually run this thing. And you feel like an idiot for, like, it's like I would never want to do a Conqueror map without being specced into the double Conquerors, right? So I often felt like I was hoarding gameplay mechanics, and then by the time I'm actually ready to run like my 300 Elders, I'm actually bored of the league and I've just stopped playing.
Specialize your tree for regular mapping. Save up all of your boss fights.
Yeah.
Then respec fully into boss mode.
Yeah.
And then do all of your saved up boss fights before specking back
don't like
again.
it.
Ideally, the design of the Atlas tree would let you spec into one build and then just play the game. We have removed all boss bonuses from the Atlas tree.
Cool.
And have baked some of them into the actual base properties of the boss fights.
Very cool.
For example, you don't need to allocate the Gaze into the Abyss notable that makes the Elder more likely to drop a Watcher's Eye.
That's really sick. Also, this is a really odd thing. This is like a really odd thing to realize. I really like how the Abyss nodes looks like an Abyss. Also, that is a lot of Abyss nodes. And like the Breach is a circle, because Breach is a circle. Likewise with the Ritual is a circle. Does that hold up for Delirium? Maybe those went to like the Horns. I might be reading into this. That is a lot of Abyss nodes. That's cool. Right, sorry.
As he just has that drop chance built in now. The Atlas tree is now focused on allowing you to specialize into content that you encounter in every map. We also want you to be able to specialize into your favorite leagues.
Oh, but there are still... I guess maybe these are just for the altars, but there are still altar nodes. I probably would have gotten rid of those entirely. But anyway. Breachstones have a chance to be pure. Cool.
Even more deeply on the Atlas tree. For each of the 10 leagues that the tree lets you disable, we've added a bunch more passives to the tree.
Cool.
These new passives allow you to increase the league's spawn chance to much higher levels than currently possible, and juice the league even further than before. We are making a number of changes to Eldritch Altars that mostly affect their rewards, but will also affect gameplay decisions you make involving them. Some of the key changes include splitting up the basic currencies.
They try to stop the thing where like you rush the boss, so like you run maps like Mesa, so like you rush the boss and then you purposely farm all the altars afterwards. So like you purposely limit the pool. Max fire res, max chaos res, chance to get chaos orb, enemies gain.
Scarab and divination card rewards to be explicit in their description of what rewards you'll get. For example, instead of map bosses dropping 3 unknown basic currency items, the altar specifically says which currency item they'll drop.
That's cool.
As part of this change, we've removed some of the lower value yet quite common currency rewards from the pool, such as Orbs of Augmentation and Orbs of Transmutation. Speaking of scarabs, these will be less available from altars, but we've improved their availability elsewhere to offset this. Rusted scarabs can now drop from the core drop pool, and we've added a vendor recipe that allows you to upgrade your scarabs up to gilded using the normal 3-to-1 ratio.
I mean, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like how their test character doesn't do heist.
You can also perform this action from your fragment tab using the new upgrade button. We have made reward types exclusive to different influences, so that you know which influence type to invest in if you want to target farm a certain reward. To give you a specific example, if you run maps influenced by, say, Eater of Worlds, you'll see Divine Orbs from the basic currency reward more than twice as often as before. We've also rebalanced rewards so that choices that affect boss drops or influence monster drops are comparatively more valuable. The Wrath of the Cosmos keystone has been reworked. Previously, it was so rewarding that players felt obligated to use it despite its extreme level of difficulty. It has retained the risk versus reward element, but with the overall intensity toned down. You can now also get Awakened Gems from defeating Maven Witness map boss. This additional reward helps further balance the
Awaken
from the various types of influence.
Oh wait, that's cool. So yeah, because there was a kind of an issue where it's like, why would you ever run Maven maps? Unless you're perhaps farming Maven boss. I don't think like the Maven boss fight. But getting Awakened Gems, that's pretty cool.
For more detail on these changes, check out the balance manifesto we posted last week, or the upcoming patch notes. In the Lake of Calandra expansion, we introduced
that was just me pogging.
When applied to your Atlas, they unlock a sequence of maps that tells the story of an NPC's past. These stories manifest as specialized encounters that involve a new challenge and exciting rewards. In this expansion, we've introduced 2 new Atlas memories, describing events related to bestiary and domination. The bestiary memory line allows you to capture harvest monsters as beasts for your menagerie. These harvest beasts can be used in 9 new beast crafting recipes. These recipes cover an array of options. For example, you can remove one of the special modifiers from a Watcher's Eye Jewel and then add another.
Wait, what? You can re-roll Watcher's Eye? I should have let the Pog thing linger for longer. That's a big gamble. Oh, I bet people have bricked so many Watcher's Eyes. Yeah, I should have left the Pog face on there for longer. That's a course, and Watcher's Eye is a really well-designed unique. It's cool they just lent even harder into that. Okay. Also, thank you for people being well-wishing me. I'll get to all of that stuff at the end. I think I'm going to upload this onto YouTube, so I kind of want to focus mostly on this.
This can have potent results, but won't affect the life, mana, or energy shield modifiers. You can re-roll an Awakened Gem from one type to another.
That's really nice for SSF, because it's quite often I would get like a random like Awakened Vile Toxins, and it's like, do I really want to play a poison build? This is like you get a support gem that's so niche in its scope that you're just kind of like, eh. But being able to re-roll that if I know I don't want to play that kind of build, that's really nice SSF change.
Another example is that you can also reroll a synthesis implicit modifier. If your item has more than one synthesis implicit, it will randomly reroll one of them. The Domination Atlas memory thrusts you into a tale of Pantheon gods that stand watch over their shrines. Like regular shrines, these are guarded by monsters and emit a buff that empowers the monsters until you claim that buff for yourself.
Oh, this is an arch nemesis,
This Atlas
is it?
memory introduces
I don't want more arch nemesis in my life.
a new set of shrines with specialized buffs, guarded by rare monsters that drop tantalizing rewards. The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a new type of shard that can drop from Harbingers, Fracturing Shards. When combined together into a full currency item, you get the Fracturing Orb, which behaves the same as the Fracturing Craft from Harvest. It can be used on any rare item with at least 4 modifiers. When the orb is applied, it locks one of the modifiers in place so that further crafting efforts do not affect that modifier.
Harvey a lot more
Items
attractive.
fractured in this way can only have one fractured modifier. Previously, this crafting option was gated behind the Oshabi fight in Harvest.
Awful
Now that it has been
mechanic.
rehomed to Harbinger, the Harvest crafting option is no longer available. This means that you'll be able to use your Harvest Life Force and Oshabi kills on other crafts. Because Fracturing Shards drop from Harbingers, you'll be able to
Or you just block Harvest and never run it.
target farm them by speccing into Harbinger content on your Atlas tree. The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces a number of new skill gems. In addition to some new melee Val skills we'll discuss later in the livestream, there are 2 totally new skills that we'd like to unveil today. Volcanic Fissure is a new fiery slam skill that can be used with staves, maces, axes, and unarmed attacks. Strike the ground
Isn't it just Tectonic Slam with a Molten Strike at the end of it?
to create a chasm that winds towards your target. This chasm can path around corners before erupting as the fissure gets as close as it can reach. It releases a burst of fiery projectiles that explode on striking the ground. Enemies hit by multiple impacts will take a lot of stacked damage. Use it up close for
I mean, I like
reliable bursts of
Cremation as a
damage, or
skill.
aim far away to damage a larger area.
I mean, maybe it's cool.
Frozen Legion is an unusual spell, summoning a ring of icy statues
that's
that
cool.
attack with your own weapon damage. The skill has multiple cooldown stacks and consumes all cooldown uses at once to summon a statue for each available cooldown.
Oh, I really like that. I mean, it's sweep with extra steps. Thank you very much, the submeet. It is sweep with extra steps, but that's a really cool ability. Like, yeah, so it's basically like, if you say you were playing just a sweep build, you just save up a bunch of those and you just dump them all on the boss. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. I'm guessing this is just like an extra 6 link you use. It's kind of like its own Val skill.
The statues perform a sweeping ice slash, and these sweeps can overlap, resulting in multiple hits against targets close to you.
That's cool.
The spell can be used with staves, maces, and axes. The skill is particularly powerful with slow, heavy weapons, as while the statues will use your attack speed, you should instead prioritize the spell's own cast time and cooldown.
I like that one a
expansion
lot.
also introduces many new Val melee skills. As you know, equipping a Val skill gem grants you both the Val and regular version of the skill. As you kill enemies, the gem charges up with their souls, and after a certain number are collected, the Val skill can be used once. Most of the new Val skills introduced in this
You didn't witness me nearly fall off my chair. That wasn't with excitement. That was just with poor balance.
expansion are melee skills, and this results in an
cleave.
indirect buff to any melee builds that use one of these skills. Where previously you just
very
been
big
using your
cleave.
melee skill to kill enemies, you now get to periodically use a super-powered version of the skill. If you like Flicker Strike, you'll love Val Flicker Strike, as it really dials up the concept of letting fate take the wheel. Val Flicker Strike causes you to flicker dozens of extra times, slashing enemies. During this time, you don't deal any damage to the
Wait. Okay. I used to be a Flicker Strike gamer. I used to do Oro's Flicker. Like, we're talking Horrendous League days. I used to play Flicker. This just seems like if you get headaches, because I can't play Flicker anymore because it gives me headaches now. It's like if you get motion sickness, we've doubled the motion sickness. Did you just say it doesn't do damage?
enemies you slash. You're quite vulnerable due to not leeching or generating fortify stacks.
Sounds terrible.
When you finish
Ugh,
flickering, if
no.
you survived, of course, you'll be rewarded with a single huge hit of damage against each enemy you slashed.
No.
Val Cleave is a new Val skill that buffs the behavior of its non-Val version, in a similar way to how Val
Right, so basically what you do is you just jump through all the enemies and do nothing, and then if you're still alive at the end of it. So it's just like an anime. It's when you see the guy, like, he doesn't even draw his sword, he's just like, "Wah!" And then you then slowly see everyone's bodies like cut in half. You get the Resident Evil brain, like, fall apart thing. If you survive. But yeah, I guess it'd be good for, like, bossing or something.
Reeve works. Bowl Cleave triggers 2 buffs, one when you kill a rare enemy, and one when you kill either a rare or unique enemy.
Okay.
The latter is a strong buff to regular Cleave, which you can keep up almost permanently if you're able to kill rare or unique enemies often enough.
I mean, it sounds like they kind of just, like, turned Cleave into Reeve. Like, it's cool, but it's like, why would you now play Reeve? Because now they're just the same skill.
Bonus for killing a rare enemy is that you get to steal its mods for a time. You can enjoy part of the power of having a headhunter without actually needing to find one.
So it's just like a cool, yeah. Like what?
Upgrade to any melee.
What? Okay, so this is just. I mean, this is cool. This is really cool. But it's like, why would you ever play Reeve when you could be Headhunter Boy?
Build that could run Cleave. That +2 radius buff is looking pretty good now, right? Don't hurt me. We'll showcase the other new Val skills we're introducing over the coming week. The Forbidden Sanctum expansion introduces over 15 new unique items, from Sanctum exclusive uniques to ones that can be found from Path of Exile's
I wonder if they have mana on them.
I'd like to show you 3 examples of these, designed by winners of our prior league's boss kill races.
Okay.
Progenesis is a unique amethyst flask.
When hit during effect, 20% of life loss from damage taken occurs in 4 seconds instead. Oh, that's cool. That's interesting. So it's like a recoup flask. And it's on an amethyst base. You don't really see many amethyst things. I like that. That's cool. This is cool.
That was designed by Ben and drops from the Uber Maven. It's a
good job, Ben. Good job, Ben.
Defensive flask that grants a mini version of the Petrified Blood effect, but without requiring you to be on low life. This is a useful tool to prevent you getting one-shot by large amounts of
it's still ain't or recoup. It's
incoming damage in scary situations. Rational Doctrine is a unique jewel that was designed by Rawlings and drops from.
You have consecrated ground around you while stationary if strength is your oh, so it's one of these. Okay. You have consecrated ground around you while stationary if strength is your highest attribute. 25% chance to create profane ground on critical strike if intelligence is your highest. Oh, profane ground. Don't you get that from... I want to say it's a chess piece. It's like something Lightborn Raymond, or is it a shield? There is a unique that gives you that. Maybe it's the shield. So it's like a template. It's either a Templar themed shield or one of the Raymond chests. I can't remember which one. Effects on ground, linger, profane ground, lingers. Okay, it's just a jewel. Broken Faith, that's the one, yeah, the bonus crit. Yeah, it's cool for a jewel. A jewel is a jewel, yeah. It's just like you either get a bunch of regen or you get some like, yeah.
From Uber Venarius. By manipulating your attributes, you can change how this jewel behaves. While the ideal dream outcome is that you manage to get your strength and intelligence tied for highest, enabling both of the benefits simultaneously, the jewel is still very powerful if it only grants your choice of permanent consecrated ground or permanent profane.
It's the sort of thing that, like, if I dropped one in SSF, I would probably try and, like, finagle my attributes. I would like it if there was, like, a dex component, just because I mostly play dex-based build. Obviously, with its whole, like, Templar theming, strength and int makes more sense. And also, if it was dex-based, then it would be they'd have to, like, nerf the strength, because it'd be too strong having all 3 at once. But yeah, okay.
Ground. Entropic Devastation is a pair of unique gloves that were designed by Gucci Pradas and dropped from the Uber Shaper. Currently, the ways to get Spell Impale are very limited.
Gucci's good at the games. This is probably a good item. Grant's Call of Steel. Increase effects of Impale. Inflict twice spells. Critical strike spells. Inflict Impale. Okay. Yeah. If you want to play Spell Impale, yeah.
Limited. These gloves provide the powerful property of causing all of your spells to impale on crit.
Yeah.
So let's talk about unique weapons.
Ooh, okay.
Specifically, endgame.
In Zeri's disfavor.
In many ways, the weapon is the most iconic and important item on a character.
Last time they buffed unique weapons. No spoilers. Is this actually massively buffed?
So it's very important that we make them exciting and worthy of their unique status. While some unique weapons have special properties that enable entirely new builds, others are best compared to powerful rare items as a primary source of your character's damage. We have to be very careful when pitching the power level of these unique weapons. If they're not powerful enough, then they're useless and are ignored, but if they're too powerful, then they discourage entire archetypes of characters from trying to find or craft rare weapons. Interestingly, the above problem doesn't apply to belts. Despite Mageblood and Headhunter both existing as extremely powerful unique items, people still craft plenty of rare belts. That's because Mageblood and Headhunter are extremely rare, and people don't actually expect they'll reliably get one in a league. Players tend to treat them as luxury upgrades to their build, rather than something they're certain to get. In this expansion, we're promoting 10 iconic but...
So it does a lot more damage now. Okay. Just it does more damage. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Underused unique weapons to the same tier of rarity as Mageblood and Headhunter. We are buffing them a gigantic amount and are making them incredibly hard to find. Remember when Starforge used to be an exciting item? Well, after this change, it's
a lot more damage.
Again. It still drops exclusively from the Shaper and the Uber Shaper, but it'll take a lot of runs or a lot of luck to earn it. Over the next week, we'll reveal the other unique weapons.
Yeah, I like to see Lion-Eyes buffed. Lion-Eyes used to be like the bow. I wonder if they've made the Lion card rarer. Because the Lion card, it is boring to farm in SSF. It is boring to farm. But I've quite enjoyed playing like precise technique builds. And Lion-Eyes Glare is like amazing for those builds. So if I got a Lion-Eyes Glare, I could see myself playing like a precise technique bow build.
Weapons that have been massively buffed. We have targeted around 10 iconic underused unique weapons and have generally buffed only their damage stat, but by a lot. We've made a number of changes to jewels that are covered in a recent balance manifesto, but in case you missed it, we want to quickly summarize what the changes are. In the Forbidden Sanctum expansion, we have made jewels a better source of ailment mitigation by buffing the values of ailment-focused jewel modifiers and adding new modifiers that enable mitigation to a wider variety of ailments than before. We have also removed some ailment mitigation modifiers that were only available on jewels through corruption, because there are now better options through the regular jewel mod pool. This also means that other desirable corruption modifiers, like immunity to corrupting blood, are more likely to roll. We want the moment of finding a unique jewel to be way more exciting than it currently is. We've added a handful of new, very powerful unique jewels and have removed some old, less interesting ones. An example of one of these new unique jewels is Fire Song, which propagates any modifiers to your ignite mitigation to other elemental ailments. If you're able to substantially reduce the duration of ignites on you, then you can use Fire Song to basically shrug off any elemental ailment. For full information about the other changes to unique jewels, check out the Balance Manifesto post we made recently. We've rebalanced curses to make them stronger where they matter most, against unique monsters and pinnacle bosses. We have buffed several Hex-related unique items and reworked unique items.
Okay, it's just this last line. 100% chance curse enemies hit you with a random hex, ignoring curse. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I dig that. So I always thought this was quite a cool item. That's very... I would definitely plan a build around that if I got one. That's cool.
That previously interacted with Doom. To replace the Doomsday Keystone passive, we have brought back a version of an iconic curse-related keystone from the past.
Interesting.
We've introduced some powerful new unique items that interact with Hex.
Chance to gain power charge when you cast a curse spell. Your curse limit is equal to your maximum power charges. That's really good. Did they buff Dewedry's Damning? Because, like, you used to wear a ring that gave you just +1, and that was it. And this gives you +2 curses, cast speed, and power charges, which, if it's helpful for your build, that's insanely strong. And it carries 49 as well, which I dig. This is cool. I would probably, like if I dropped one of these, I would probably run it on, like, a Essence Drain, like a Course to Carry build. So I could do, like, Despair, Temp Chains, and Feeble or something. This is sick.
Hexes, which we'll reveal in the lead up to launch. For more details on changes to curses, check out the Balance Manifesto we posted recently, or the patch notes that will come out after the live stream concludes.
Come on, you can get that blue mob. I love the way he just like completely fucking missed it.
When we first created the Arch Nemesis monster mod system, our goal was to improve Path of Exile's outdated set of monster mods.
You should have opened with this one, Chris. This should have been it. This should have been the screw Forbidden Sanctum. This should have been the opener. Oh. Do I no longer need to make videos talking about, like, immunities are boring? Well, hang on. No spoilers. I've not watched it yet. It could be... We've listened to feedback, and we've replaced Arch Nemesis with something even harder and with more immunities. Okay, that's what she has to say.
With new and interesting mechanics that have modern game balance. We feel that Arch Nemesis did introduce a lot of interesting mechanics, but it unfortunately had several of its own problems. We have replaced Arch Nemesis with a system that is more similar to the way monster mods worked in the past.
Okay.
The new monster mods are a lot simpler. They now each do one thing and very clearly state what they do. Each encounter...
Oh, hang on. Did that mob have a, Did that mob have a... This is cool. I like this. I like the clear visuals. So is this what? Minus 14% fire, minus 6% lightning, plus 3% cold res?
They do. Each encounter with a rare monster is now less complex and is easier to understand in the heat of combat compared to Arch Nemesis. You'll still encounter challenging combinations of mods from time to time, but this emergent synergy will be rarer than it was under Arch Nemesis. The goal is that combat is interesting and varied, with moments that get your heart racing, but without the frustrations of the Arch Nemesis system. Let's talk about rewards. Under Arch Nemesis, it often felt mandatory to bring in a magic find culling character.
What? Okay, no spoilers. Can I still get, like, 5,000 blue flasks? Am I running a map and just being like, oh, great, 1,000 transmutes?
Character to kill some monsters for you in order to maximize your rewards. In the new system, we've added a significant pool of new rewards to rares, but the reward that is on the monster is hidden and not associated with a specific mod, so you don't know what kind of rewards you will get until you kill the monster. Rare monsters with more mods are more likely to have these special hidden reward bonuses. To find out more about other balance changes that are taking place in the Forbidden Sanctum, check out the patch notes, which will be available when the livestream ends.
Okay.
Over the last year or so, some of our senior developers have been tinkering with a more challenging way to play Path of Exile. We've been publicly alpha testing this mode, known as Ruthless, for the last month, and are planning to make it available to anyone who's interested alongside the launch of the Forbidden Sanctum next week. Ruthless...
I don't think I will league start Ruthless. I haven't done any Ruthless. I would probably... I haven't decided yet. I need to read patch and stuff. I'll probably go softcore SSF and then do some Ruthless after I've seen like the league mechanic. I don't know. I'll see. I need to read about
This is an optional additional character flag like hardcore or solo self-found that completely changes how Path of Exile feels to play. Ruthless is a lot more difficult than regular Path of Exile, but it doesn't achieve this by making the monsters harder to kill. It instead focuses on reducing character power through extreme item scarcity, limited crafting, and many other changes such as support gems being drop only. We've posted an article about the philosophy and rules of Ruthless on pathofexile.com/ruthless. We plan to release this mode alongside the Forbidden Sanctum expansion in a week. In addition to being a character flag like hardcore or...
I really dig the idea. And I've always had like a bit of an issue with this whole thing of like having to farm support gems. Sounds rough. It used to be, I will say, it used to be back in the day, it used to be really cool. Like when you dropped to multi-strike, you'd be like, yo, multi-strike, let's go. But to be like, yo, void manip, it's kind of like, I mean, maybe it's just you need to just play, you know, you just got to play it.
Solo self-found. It's also available as a modifier for private leagues. To be clear, the Forbidden Sanctum League content can be played in Ruthless with appropriately balanced rewards. Ruthless is still very experimental during 320, and we won't be afraid to make mid-league balance changes to it during this experimental phase.
That's interesting, mid-league
Ruthless
stuff.
Is not for everyone, but so far it has found a supportive and growing group of players who enjoy the additional challenge that it brings. If it sounds like something you're interested in, then try it out next time you're looking for a new way to enjoy Path of Exile. This expansion also contains a number of small quality of life improvements.
Okay.
Some examples are Divine Vessels can now be used by right-clicking them rather than taking them to Sin.
That's nice.
On the player overhead life bar, the energy shield bar is split into a separate bar.
That's nice.
You can now right-click an itemized Temple of Atsuatl to see its layout.
Nice.
And most importantly, beast crafting recipes that add mods to flasks now actually
Yeah, they should have done this like however long ago they first did that thing.
say what the mods do.
And you
We'll post more information about these and other quality of life improvements in the lead up to release.
Seems an odd. Must have had some sort of tech issue. Like it must have like not been displaying correctly. Seems an odd. It was bugged. Yeah, that's interesting.
Today we're launching 2 new series of supporter packs, the Forge and Gemling packs. Each tier contains their packs full
I'll watch
face
them.
value
I haven't
points plus several exclusive.
Haven't bought supporter pack in a while. Broke boy gang, but we'll watch them. I'll let people know what I think of them.
Microtransactions. These packs will only be available for the duration of the Sanctum Challenge League and will leave the store forever in 3 months. As always, these microtransactions are entirely cosmetic and do not affect your character's progression or power. The Forge series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
I like this fountain. Is that a portal? That'd be a really cool portal if that's a portal. I don't like this JoJo looking skull thing.
The Clockwork back attachment ramps up as you build a kill streak, building pressure and releasing it when your streak ends.
That's kind of cool. That's kind of cute. Little choo-choo train.
The Delirious hideout decoration lets you summon delirium fog in your hideout at will, complete with strange voices and terrifying apparitions.
Feeling okay? You're looking a little pale, exile.
I think that could have been an awesome portal. I think that could have been such a cool portal. I really like the look of it. I mean, if you want a delirium hideout, okay, but that could have been such a sick portal. I feel like that would just get really annoying.
The Forge Guard armor set summons
cool.
a hammer and anvil so that everyone nearby can watch you craft.
Oh, that's cool. That's cute.
The Ethereal Fusing effect turns your item linking attempts into a spectator sport. If you manage to
cute.
hit a 6 link, people watching are even prompted to send a congratulatory message.
I don't really like the congratulate thing. I don't like it impeding other people. I mostly like it because the amount of items where you have to like really squint to see your links, having this separate, like just linking stuff in your own hideout, just be like, oh, I actually got a 5 link, like reverse 5 link stuff. I like that. I think that's kind of cute.
Summoning the Crow Storm portal effect causes a murder of crows to erupt from the portal. The portal becomes dormant if you are too far away from it, causing the crows to take to the skies. The High Templar weapon effect smites the undead you fight and scours the souls of those you put to rest.
But
The Gemling Pack series also...
I like low... What am I trying to say? I like MTX that are like low visual clutter. I often play low visual clutter builds. Was that like a corn on the cob or something? Kadir, bro. Okay, so I'm guessing this is a slime pet. Like a spit roast thing. Are those coins? Coins falling out of your pocket is kind of cool. And maybe that's a pet. I don't know. Let's just watch it.
also has 6 exclusive microtransactions. The Beehive weapon effect lets your weapon play host to a swarm of angry bees, which erupt from the hive whenever you hit an enemy with the weapon.
Sorry. I've apparently still got a bit of a cold. That doesn't look like a beehive to me. It's kind of funny. I'm sure some people love that. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Critical hits cause the hive to send out its best warriors. The Stampede Quicksilver Flask makes you the leader of your own personal rower herd.
No. What did I just say about visual clutter? It's like there have been a couple of really cool uniques and loot boxes recently. It's like when you cast an intelligence spell, like a Sharpie shoots out of your head or something. And that's cool. But then you realize it's like everything you do, you're just like flashbanging yourself. Oh yeah, that would get really annoying really quickly. If you like that, cool. For me, it's like
Activating the flask causes a host of
it's too much
ghostly
stuff,
rowers
like-
to charge alongside you.
how are you meant to see what's happening on the screen? Like you think you yeah you use your flask, you're like, oh no, I'm getting ganked. Like what? No.
This is the Gemling Artificer armor set. It is inlaid with gems that match
That's
the
cool.
gems you've socketed in your items. Crafting gems with gem cutters prisms, Val orbs, or regrading lenses visualizes the process for all to see.
I don't like the way the armor set looks. If this was just like a bandolier, that you just wore over your normal armor, I would be really into it. Thank you very much for the subs. I will thank everyone and do a proper talk at the end of this, so I'm probably going to upload this to YouTube, so I'll keep this clean. So yeah, I would really dig this if this was just like a bandolier or something you just wore over your pre-existing stuff. I don't particularly like the visuals of this, but I think this is like a cool idea.
This armor set also includes alternate gem level up effects. Prospero's ring blesses you with a constant shower of coins, and it helps you thank players you've traded with through a hearty fist bump.
That's cute.
The consuming ooze.
I mean, I play SSF. I don't think I get to use that very much in SSF. As an SSF player, do I get to fist bump like vendors when I vendor? Oh, yeah, you know, whatever.
Ooze pet bounces alongside you and devours corpses in your wake, spitting out a tidy pile of bones.
Why does it bounce? It's low visual clutter. Just make it just like walk around, man. It's cute, I guess.
Finally, this pack allows you to reunite with Kadero Perandus, inviting him to your hideout as a vendor. In addition to buying items from you and using his connections to accept your divination cards, he'll provide commentary on your goods, equipment, and anything else he sees fit to judge you for.
That might be a little too much to drink, even for me.
Kadero has hundreds of lines of voice acting.
What? Oh, a mighty headhunter. I'm so impressed. Try to duck when the brain fragments splatter everywhere.
I mean, kind of cute. It's okay.
You wouldn't want to sully your armor.
It's a bit long. I feel like the issue you would have with that is like you would run into the Navali problem where like you're just like getting voice lines thrown at you, and it's like the first time you hear it's kind of cute, but like the second you hear it more than once, it's awful, and it's like you vended and re-entered the map before he's like even finished his first word, because Pee-wee's all like go 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 go, you know. I wish that was a portal. That would have been a really cool portal.
These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase. Purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2, and we really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, the Knight and Rogue packs leave the store forever in 1 week, so now's your last chance to...
Okay. So Kadero could have been a portal? Yeah. Okay, so let's recap my thoughts, and then I'll upload this up onto YouTube later. Okay, so Arch Nemesis gone. Awesome. First impressions. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Hex rework. I kind of spaced out on, to be honest, but like, yeah, neat. Some of the uniques they showed was pretty cool. The dual and element changes, I kind of spaced out on, to be honest. It's probably quite impactful, but like, I kind of was like, eh. The Val stuff, if you already play those builds, obviously great. Yeah. I think this skill is really cool. I really think this skill is cool. Tectonic 2.0. Nah. Fracturing Orb, really cool. The rewards from the Atlas Memory, cool. Eldritch Altar Rebalance, needed. Atlas Tree Revamp, I think this is awesome. I think this is really cool. Endgame improvements, yep. Sanctum. I'm gonna have to play it, obviously. I'm gonna have to play it. Look at the list of Vol skills. Okay, I'll do that. a bit worried that you'll make speed, like just movement speed oriented characters. There's no real reason to like invest into defenses. The boons and like the run to run gameplay feeling different thing I'm not really seeing. I think the relics are very awesome though. I think the relics, both the normal relics and then like the sanctified out of sanctum relics is really cool. And it's a nice way for many people just playing throughout the league for longer and longer. Not too sold on it yet, but I think the relic system is really cool. And I think as long as there's enough variety in the raw gameplay, I will enjoy this system just for the chase of wanting the relics in SSF. People saying I need to read the patch notes to look at the gems. Am I being stupid? Endgame uniques. We're doing stuff in elusive. Okay, let's try this again. Jewels and curses. Okay, I guess we just go Control F. Okay. So someone spoiled Val Corsicara earlier. So that kind of sucked. But I'm excited to see what it does. Let's jump down to that. Okay, do I have to jump to Corsicara? Caustic. How do I want to see. How do I I just want to see what it does. It's not in the patch notes. Wait. Okay. We can fix this. PoE DB Val Caustic Arrow. I don't want to build guide on it. Corsicara, how was Val Corsicara start? PoE Val. Okay, sure. There's some RMT website. Cheap. No, I don't want. Just let me look at. Someone found me a link to it. Okay, cool. New gems. Okay, thank you very much. Val Corsicara fires a slow-moving serpentine arrow. So does that mean it's like ziggy zaggies? Which deals chaos damage while piercing enemies and leaves a trail of caustic ground. And who's standing on the ground take chaos damage every time. Okay. So my first question, and this you actually can answer. Does this stack with normal caustic arrow? Because that base damage is ridiculous. It doesn't? No. Okay. It's still like double the damage. Which is pretty cool. And it lasts for 6 seconds, which is a long time. And you can get 2 uses. So like with a little bit of duration, because most CA builds just passively get the video. You can like, because you do it once, you let that ride, then you do the second one. You're getting like you can probably get like an easy 20 seconds or something. It's also cheap, yeah. You can probably have like near perma uptime on most bosses. So it's just like a big caustic arrow. Interesting. That's cool. This thing. Interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool. We saw what Cleave did. Kind of Fisher we just saw. Flicker Strike. Blade Flurry. Yeah. Frozen Legion. Oh, this is the statue thing. I thought the statue thing was cool. So nice base damage. Volcanic Fissure, Hex Bloom, Cursed Ground Support. Okay. I did Cursed Duration. Okay, Temp Chains is a lot stronger now. Interesting. Okay. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I think having... So from the point of view of a Caustic Arrow player, I think it's cool to basically have Caustic Arrow just do double damage on bosses. It's pretty sick. Would I have wanted it to do something maybe a little more interesting? Possibly. I would say, having not played it, having not done anything, I would say this looks pretty cool. I think it seems more interesting than Lake of Calandra. And I imagine the arch nemesis change is probably the biggest, like, I imagine people are just like hyping like the base game feeling, not like arch nemesis the video game. So it's probably like with that and the end game balance, I think the new Atlas Tree Memories and the arch nemesis changes, I'd say the main takeaway would be the base game feeling cool. And then the league mechanic, if it's good, great. Hopefully it's good. And if it's not, then you kind of ignore it entirely because it's a non like map thing. So you go to do something different with, you kind of just play it like standard. Which maybe if you're playing Ruthless or something could be a really fun thing to do. So I think yeah, I'd probably league start an SSF. And then if I wasn't vibing the mechanic, I would just jump into Ruthless. Yeah. So all in all, I would say if I had to rate it out of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a funny. Oh, hang on, this will work. So I have a loaf of bread. Hang on. So I have a loaf of bread. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 slices left. So if I had to rate it out of 12 slices of budget Sainsbury's own brand soft white toasting bread, like imagine that you guys are like ducks or something and this has gone stale and I'm like feeding it, or I've lost the analogy. If I had to rate it out of 12 budget slices of bread, I think I'd probably give it like a 8 or a 9. I think to get the full 12, I probably would have wanted to see like a more interesting boon system. And I would have liked Val Caustic Arrow to have been more than just like damage. I think like damage plus like a hinder, or like damage and it applies wither. You know what I mean? Not just like a it just does a lot more damage. But yeah. Yeah, Spore Pot, just it did something else, you know. I think it could have had some sort of lingering thing, or maybe if it was just like a thing of like it just hits and just spreads, like it has inbuilt fork or something. Just something a little bit more like wowie. Just doing damage can be cool. Just like pressing buttons, just like I did a lot of damage can be very cool. But just having just some sort of gameplay element tied into it as well. Because yeah, I can imagine the pain of trying to get a 21 Val Caustic Arrow. Oof. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. But anyway, I'm Tarke. Hope you're all doing well. Have a good day, and thanks for watching.